This shiur is going to be Leilui Nishmat Rav Chaim Israel ben Chanatziro, Rav Bilski. We just heard the horrible news that he passed away. So the shiur is dedicated to his Leilui Neshama. Doing Parashat Yitro. Parashat Yitro. So again, we're going to take things a little bit out of order. This great moment, this great event of Matan Torah, receiving the Torah, what does it really tell us? What does it really tell us? How is it really related to us today? You know, it's very interesting if you come to think about it. The Chag, the holiday in which went the greatest transformation in Jewish history is no other than Shavuot. From a Chag or from a festival of bringing from the produce of the land, you turn into Chag Matan Torah. So it wasn't like that before. But nevertheless, we're talking about Torah, and we need to have in mind that when we talk about Torah, the Torah is light. Torah is or, is light. Torah comes also from the word hora'ah. Hora'ah means a few things. It could mean a commandment to say, Ani moreh lecha, I'm telling you what to do. Or hora'ah from teaching. Matan Torah was and still is the greatest event in, I would say, even human history, needless to say Jewish history, where we received the instructions, the path of how to connect to the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or how to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu altogether. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a very difficult concept for us humans to understand. I'll give you an example. The earth is big. Our earth is big. I mean, you look at the moon looks like this, but if you go to the moon, you look at the earth, you see how big the earth is. And if you need to walk, you can't walk, it's so big. And yet, if you put things in the right scale, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto are much bigger than us. If you put it in the right place, the sun is enormous compared to us. I don't know the names, but there are some celestial objects out there. They're like thousands of times bigger than our sun. It's like it's unbelievable. And then you look at our solar system and other solar systems, and how do we fit in the galaxy? And our Milky Way is let me tell you, a huge galaxy. You come to realize that the Milky Way is just a small fragment of what is called the megastructures of the universe. And that's not even the universe. And so if you would look even at our Milky Way, and you look how small the earth is, you can't identify it. If you're going to take a piece of pencil, just put that going to be bigger than the earth in the scale of the Milky Way. You see how vast the universe is. All of a sudden you're going to realize how insignificant we are. With our problems, with our issues, with our intriguing things that we do. What is this noise? Like aliens? Right? How weird, we are, that we think. And we have the audacity to think about the Kadosh Baruch Hu, and we have complaints to him. It's so insignificant. And yet, as vast as the universe is, it's a fraction not even of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. So how could we as humans have any kind of a complaint, first of all, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Needless to say, how do I connect to such a thing? It's impossible for us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you're right, it's impossible. But I'm going to give you an adapter, and we're going to connect. And that's the Torah. Connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through the Torah, it's something much bigger, not only than all of us, that everything in the universe and the universe itself. So we need to understand that there is a principle that, as we say, blood draws blood, money attach yourself to money, right? You know, right? So the similarities attract similarities, right? And that's something for us to remember in our interactions with other people, with our need to be connected to the goyim, to be like them. We need to have a tendency to appease the goyim. You need to understand that when you have a separation, or there is something lacking in your spiritual capacity, that's what causes that separation inside. So therefore the problem is lacking of spirituality. And that need to separate because we're not spiritual. That's what causes us that separation from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is really against nature, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give, and we should want to receive, but we push him away from us. So we need to understand how we connect back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to his light, to his Torah. How can we elevate ourselves above nature, to change our will, our own personal selfish will, to bring it to the level of Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. We all know how to say it, but very few people know how to do it, and even less do it. The word Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha and the Torah go hand in hand. So if you find within yourself a place of rejection towards another Jew, the Torah is not dwelling permanently inside of you. It's something that therefore you should look, because you're missing something in that spiritual, something spiritually is not complete with you. There's a lacking in that inside of you. So let's have this in mind. So the parasha starts right away with the story of Yitro, and it calls it its name, and the pasuk says, "Vayishma Yitro kohen Midian choten Moshe et kol asher asa Elokim leMoshe uLiYisrael amo." And Yitro heard whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they said the father-in-law of Moshe, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did to them, to Moshe and to Am Yisrael. And what did he do? Ki hotzi Hashem et Yisrael mimitzrayim. What does it mean, hotzi et Yisrael mimitzrayim? That's what you heard? What happened to the 10 plagues? That you didn't heard. That was hidden from you. Only heard that they came out of Mitzrayim. Rashi comes and tells us, Mashmua shama'u ba. Kriyat Yam Suf u'Milchemet Amalek. What is it that he heard? The splitting of the ocean and the war of Amalek. That, he heard, in other words, he heard everything, but only that caused him to come to join Moshe. Until then he wasn't. You should know that the whole entire world heard the same thing as Yitro heard. The whole entire world heard that. They heard, and yet they didn't come. Can you believe such a thing? That the nations heard and they knew about the whole entire thing. And they just couldn't come to bring from within, to bring about the fact to say, I want to be like that. I want to connect myself to this. Let me ask you a question. Who is the wealthiest man in the world? Whatever his name is will be. I don't know. Who? I don't know. Whatever it is. No. The richest billionaire. Who is it?
Warren Buffett.
No, Warren Buffett. No.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Okay, maybe. Okay, take it, Bill Gates. But said that Bill Gates. I take Bill Gates. Warren Buffett, you want? I'll give you Warren Buffett. Whatever you want. Carlos Santana. I don't know. Whatever you want, I'll give you. He says right now, guys, I have openings in my most inner circle. Call Dichfin, whoever wants, come and join me. He said, excuse me, what's the prerequisites? Nothing. You want to join me? Come in. You're going to be a part of my board of directors. Huh? This is for real. This ain't in the news. Imagine, out of all the people, how many people will go there? Everybody. There will be lines from here to Las Vegas and back. And yet, he's only a person. How a whole entire world heard that, and only Yitro came. I don't know about you, but to me, it's a very perplexing ordeal. There's a pizza there, by the way, guys. There's pizza. So the whole world heard, and Yitro, because of that, had the zchut that the parasha is going to be called after him. Of course, the question is, Yitro was a priest for Avodah Zarah. He was the pope of idol worshipping. He knew everything. Yitro knew everything. And you call a parasha in the Torah on him? So Chazal tells us that the tum'ah, the biggest tum'ah in the world, the biggest impurity in the world is Avodah Zarah. Rabotai, that's why you have to be very careful from Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah, kishma kenhi. Anything that you worship that is not Hashem. Rabotai, that's Avodah Zarah. I'll tell you something else, including yourself. I'm sorry?
What about your boss?
Your boss?
Not worship, but...
You idolizing American Idol, right? So instead of that, put American Idol worshiping. Maybe America has talent, a very little spirituality. And they did hear the voice, but not the voice of God.
Nice.
And instead of dancing with the stars, they would have been better dancers with wolves. Needless to say, dancing with Jews. Because everybody's just busy doing survival. And they're involved with the human race, which is a real disgrace. Isn't it? Isn't it? So, and again, the Gemara tells us that there was an Avodah Zarah that Yitro did not try. The worst. And then all of a sudden he heard the splitting of Yamsuf and the word of Amalek, and he became tshuva. All of a sudden he became a Baal tshuva. I believe in Hashem. I believe. And he came back and so on and so forth. We'll talk maybe a little bit about it, but I want to bring to you a point about how great HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. and something that you should learn. And maybe adapt as well. Chazal tells us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not get rid or forgets anyone. As they say, lo yidach mimeno nidach. Even the person who is most removed from him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to remove him from him. There are certain things HaKadosh Baruch Hu would not like. But that is one of them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for example, would not forget a person who, like Bnei Midian, they went with non-Jewish girls. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to forget. That is a kapara that, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That you need a big kapara for that. Rabotai, stick to Jewish girls. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not like it. So that's something that you got to remember. You got to tell people before they do the avera, before they throw the Jewish girl and they go with the non-Jewish girl. So he says that lo yidach memeno nidach is not only to Am Yisrael, even by the goyim, even those who do the worst thing, the idol worshippers, even them have a chance to come as close as they can to the Torah, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the Rambam refers to it, by the way, in many places. Kol ish asher yesh bo da'at. When he writes this, for example, at Alachot Shemitah, Sof Alachot Shemitah, when he talks, Kol bar da'at, Kol ish. When the Rambam says that, means every human being, not only a Jew. That's the Rambam says it in 2 or 3 places. So Yitro heard this, the whole entire world heard this, and why didn't they come? And I'll tell you why. Because they heard, but they didn't know what they heard. Now, you know that who's going to become an audiologist? Here, audiologist, right? We have certain frequencies in which we hear, which we respond to. And there's certain frequencies that, depends on your quality of your ears. There are certain decibels or certain frequencies in which you are not going to hear. And there are those people with a very good hearing that they can hear things that people don't hear. Or a dog can hear things that doesn't hear. You don't tell me the voice is not there, you just don't hear it. So sometimes people need amplifiers for the ears to hear the sounds a little better. So the whole world heard that. But what they heard noise. They heard noise. They say it's thunder. Some say it was an earthquake. Some say it was a supersonic a boom. They heard the noise. They couldn't translate it appropriately. Only Yitro was able to hear the true voice. Am Yisrael, by the way, did prepare himself to be able to hear this voice. By the way, until today, there are those heavenly voices. The Gemara says every single day there is a heavenly voice that comes out from Har Sinai and says, "Doi vavoy to you guys who left my Torah." Every single day. We don't hear it because we out-tuned our ears to hear the sound of Torah. All we hear is money, 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 money. That's what we hear. We hear this. Hold on. Let me show you. We hear this. Money. That's the good sound. I like that. But the Kol Koreh, to come and pray, to come and learn, we hear, but we tune it out. Don't tell me you can hear it. We know it's there. We know what it's right. For parents who tell their children, don't go to learn Torah, go to work. That's a crime. A child, mi'ikar hadin, does not have to listen to his father. If his father tells him, don't learn, go to work. There's no inyan of kibud avayim in that. Why the father doesn't want his son to be a kli kodesh, to be a holy vessel? The father wants his son to be tameh, impure. So why in bar mitzvah he bought him tefillin? He should have taken to you know where, to a good girl's house. Which father would have done that? If somebody would do it, say there's something is wrong with this father. And yet that's what you do. You take your kids from learning in yeshiva, go to work. Where's your emunah? You talk about emunah? Oh, if you're not going to work now, you're never going to get a job. If that's the will of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, that's what would happen. But I can tell you, I'm not a prophet. I'm not a prophet. But I can tell you what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from you. He wants you, first of all, to learn. That's what He wants you. And if HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not want you to learn, you see this kippah, I'll eat it. Why is this? Why don't we hear the voice of purity that comes every single day? Why is it because we're afraid that our children will turn better than us? We're afraid that we should have done this and we can't? Why do we push our kids to do what we know is wrong? And you come to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? You come to pray to Him when you tell your kid, go on in Yeshiva. It's one thing if the kid doesn't learn. But if the kid comes to learn every single day, who do you pray to? Yourself? Let him learn. You should kiss this kid on the forehead every single day that he wants to go to learn yeshiva and doesn't go to some strip club or does drugs or goes out with non-Jewish girls. You should kiss him on the forehead. Maybe you should get up for him when he enters the room. And you want to take him out to go to work? There's something wrong with you. I'm not saying the kid should be a parazit. But he's not. He's getting up to learn. It's much more difficult to get up to learn and not to make money in the pocket and to overcome yourself than to go to work and make money and be a big shot and drive a nice car and have girls and be spiritually invalid. What's wrong with us? We hear this voice, but we say it's a different voice. You turn off the speakers. I'm sorry, the CD is not working. I don't hear anything. The USB is broken. I don't hear anything. You try to put the earphones on. Put the volume on. You put a CD or whatever you have nowadays, inside the thing. It works. It makes the sound. You just turn it off. The sound is still coming out. You turn it off. That's what we do. What do you guys think? It's a joke? Every single day this heavenly voice comes out. Says, oh, ilala Torah, then you left it. You didn't leave the Torah. You left the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So go to work most of the day, and then come to learn half an hour. I mean, you're learning, but you don't need more than that. I want to see your wife telling you, and you know what I'm saying. I'll be with you for an hour. The rest of the day, I'll go somewhere else. We're betraying HaKadosh Baruch Hu in His Torah. And yet we hold ourselves to be religious people, holy people. Afterwards, isn't that we do a favor to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we pray to Him? Isn't that we do Him a favor, that we keep Shabbat? We build Him a shul. Not only I build Him a shul, I'm going to build the shul, I'm going to fight with everybody else, I'm going to take people from other shuls. Because I'm doing HaKadosh Baruch Hu a favor. You're not doing Him a favor, you dig yourself a hole in Gehenna, that's what you're doing to yourself. Good? Yeah. Now, so Am Yisrael prepared himself to hear these voices. The Jewish soul always urges to reach this level of Matan Torah. It was a pull. He wanted to come there. And what it gives you the ability to hear this voice, what gives you this ability is this little amplifier, and that's called Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu uBeMoshe Avdo. When you believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when you believe in what Moshe Rabbeinu brings in the Torah, then you're going to hear this voice. You don't hear the voice because you don't believe. Who are you fooling? However, you should remember that that's not enough just to believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I believe that there is God. I believe Torah came from Shamayim. I believe. Oh no. But you have to believe in Moshe Rabbeinu also, the faithful shepherd, the leaders of Am Yisrael to generations. That's why it says, "V'yaminu b'Hashem u'b'Moshe Avdo, az yashir Moshe." What's Shirah? Shirah en Shirah el Torah. Only when you have emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Moshe Avdo is Divrei Chachamim. Only you believe and you learn the Torah shebichtav and Torah shebe'al peh. Emunah shlema is emunat Chachamim. Only when you believe in that, only then, az yashir Moshe. Only then you can have Torah. There is no Torah, there's no emunah, there's no Torah. So you tell this to the father who wants to send the kids to work, that he's got a problem. You tell this to the father who wants to send his kid to an Ivy League school and to skip Yeshiva. You tell him he's got a problem. Remember with me, got a problem with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And before that, he has to explain this to Moshe Rabbeinu. Now let's see you, big shot. Can you do that? A kid that sincerely wants to do something with himself and sincerely wants to go to Yeshiva, you should give him whatever you want. Who do you think is going to say Kaddish for you? Huh? The kid who goes to the Goya? Or the kid who is a Ben Torah? The kid who goes with the Goya, who goes off the deck and says, watch out, we'll bury him. It's cheaper, cremate him, we'll spread him over the ocean, we'll make him fish food. I can plant radishes in his ash. It's good for my soil. It balances the pH. I like to bury him, schlep him to Israel, not listen to music for a year. I got that, get rid of him. Put him on a vase. And use it as an ashtray. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So these are the senses. We need to work on our senses, and we need to refine our senses. Also, the sense of hearing. That's what we need to refine. And he says in Shirat Hayam, Shamu amin yirgazun, chi lachaz yoshvei pelashet. All the nations heard of the splitting of Yam Suf. Why? Because the Gemara tells us that at the time of Kriyat Yam Suf, the splitting of the ocean, all waters in the world split. You come to drink this thing, all of a sudden, whoop, Coca-Cola goes in half. You come in to drink the soup, what? Everything cuts in half. Everybody, imagine something like this. You come in to drink your soup, nice soup, like hot and sour soup, All of a sudden, you say, well, maybe they put too much starch, okay. You want some starch? Okay, take 1 ton soup. Okay, the same. Every single thing. You take shorba, some Turkish, nothing, all the water. You go into the bathroom, everything splits in two. Every water in the world. I think if something like this will happen in nowadays, the whole world would stop, and I don't know what they'll do. Every single water in the world. So they knew it. They knew it. But only Yitro came. Only one person came and teaches you something very, very important. It's a tremendous lesson. And it goes like this. Hearing, Shmiya, is associated with the sfera of Bina. Bina is the ability to dwell inside of us, to look, to understand, to comprehend. 2 people can hear a shiur, 2 people can hear a lesson, right? And in one person, he's like, goes from one ear to the other ear. The other one, actually, the things saturate into him. They hear it. Everybody hears. But very few people actually listen. When I talk to you, I said, you understand what I'm saying? I said, I hear you. I said, I know you hear me. But do you understand? Do you listen to what I say? We heard what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said. Moshe Yedaber, which is another question altogether. Moshe Yedaber va'Elohim ya'anenu bekol. Moshe speaks and Hashem answers him back with noise. But everybody hears. But nobody listens. That's something we need to work on. Very few people, when they listen, will be able to change their lives, to change the way they think, to be courageous. How many people were exposed? Listen, there are people who were born into the yeshiva world, and they're snapping out for many reasons. But one of the reasons is because they don't listen. And yet there's someone who could be completely out, eating shrimp for breakfast and lobsters for dinner. Drives on Shabbat, eats on Yom Kippur, I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Out. All of a sudden, he listens to a shiur from a rabbi, and on the spot decides to change his life, 180. But the words are the same words. But what you decide to do, that's already up to you. So if we want to listen to those noises also, we need this great noise of reality of our generation. And there's a lot of noise out there. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, until last night, the streets were quiet. There was snow. Nobody was driving. Everybody was afraid to lose a parking spot. How wonderful that quiet was. No music in the cars, no beeping, no alarms, no motors, quiet. That's a wonderful thing. So if we, in our world, by the way, create so much noise and deliberately, because we are so close, we're mamash close. We are close to turn the page. One of the ways that we know that we are about to close the page is the rapid ascending of great people like Rav Belsky that just niftar from this world. Who is left? We are like an orphan generation. Who is left? Who is left? Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu to lean on. So in our generation, in order to be able to do that, we are obligated to connect to our emunah in our nefesh, in our soul, pnima, internally. The place inside of us that not only hears, but also listens very carefully. That's why Torah Shebe'al Peh needs Havana. Right? We speak the Torah Shebe'al Peh. Because I can tell you the stories of Bereshit, and I can tell you the stories of so on and so forth, or you can read it. But in order to really understand, you need to verbalize it, and you need to understand it. That's Be'al Peh. It was said like that. That's why we need to understand Torah Shebe'al Peh. That's why the Ikar, people say, it's enough that I learned the Chumash. No, the Ikar is Torah Shebe'al Peh. I know what I'm saying to you is strange, but the Ikar is Torah Shebe'al Peh, because Torah Shebe'al Peh validates Torah Shebichtav. Without Torah Shebe'al Peh, Torah Shebichtav is useless to us. We don't know how to operate it. So that's why you need to understand that. That's why you need to respect Chachamim and their opinion and what they say. And that's why we need to say, Vayaminu be'Hashem Torah shebichtav u'b'moshe avnot Torah shebe'al peh. And that's why you need to come and learn. It's not enough for you to be good people. He's a good person. She's a good person. That's not enough. You're never going to be as good as a sheep or goat or cow. They're good. They don't harm anybody. We're not good. We can only do good if we do Torah. If you're going to ask ISIS what's good, you're going to get a different answer from a guy in Mea Shearim or Bnei Brak. Good. There's no such thing as good. En tov ela Torah. If you want to really be good, do Torah. That's why you have to come and learn, especially Torah Shebe'al Peh. You have to learn Mishnayot. You have to learn Gemara. You must learn Halacha. You must. Otherwise, you're missing out. And this is about half of what I wanted to do today. But we'll have to stop because I have to do Arvit now. So may these words be somewhat לעילוי נשמתו של הרב בלסקי, הרב חיים ישראל בלסקי, עליו השלום, תהי נשמתו צרורה בצרור החיים.